Welcome to the Geek Arena podcast, powered by 1776 Gaming, where nerd culture meets patriot power. Whether you're rolling a d20, grinding for loot, arguing over who the best Batman is, or binging sci-fi until 3 a.m., you've found your people. Each week, we dive headfirst into the world of gaming, comics, tech, movies, and everything gloriously geeky with no holds barred and zero filter. Hosted by the crew that brought you 1776gaming.com, we're not just players, we're freedom-loving fanatics bringing that revolutionary energy to every topic, guest, and hot take. Strap in, squat up, and let the geek flag fly. This is the Geek Arena.
Alrighty, everybody, and welcome back to another podcast edition of Geek Arena. I am the host, Smokey, and this is my guest number one, Darth Bane.
Hello.
And then my guest number two, you may know him as Asparagus, but we call him Ryker.
Even though.
So we started off the day very good, on a high note, with a little bit of slight inebriation. I'm currently drinking a little bit of Long Island iced tea with some bourbon.
I'm just drinking bourbon.
There you go. And Riker's underage, so he's drinking milk.
He's trying to get those gains already.
Yeah. Gotta have them strong bones. So, pretty much what we're going to be talking about on the podcast today is we are going to go from different eras of where video games started for us versus our guest, Ryker, who is younger than us. And we're going to see the difference between our era of video games and his. So I'm going to have to start off with, when I was a little kid, my cousins had the Nintendo and the Nintendo 64. So games like Battletoads, Mario, of course, Donkey Kong Land, these were the big name brands that I was playing at that time. And even then, I knew that the graphics were not amazing, but for me, they were. Like Donkey Kong, if you remember its background, you were just amazed by how it looked like a forest. I don't know if you've ever played that, Ryker.
Haven't had the chance to, unfortunately, but I have seen the gameplay, and it looks hilarious, to tell you
Right.
the truth.
I always loved playing as Diddy because Diddy Kong, of course, had the fucking hat. But now today, you definitely don't want to say the word Diddy too much.
Nope, no you don't.
Bane, what games did you start rocking on?
Oh, I mean, let's see if I can remember. I think it was on my cell phone, just playing Tetris for the first time.
Oh
on the
my
Nokia
God.
brick.
Yeah.
Was like my first ever game that I played. That, or it was the educational games like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego and Math Blasters 3000 when I was like 7.
See, that was terrible. I hated that.
It was rough, but it was really interesting, and I don't know why. But that's what actually started getting into games, was those. From there, it went on to Age of Empires, the very first one.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's how I actually started falling in love with history, because I saw it come to life with playing as the Spartans and then going from there and just starting off. I used to walk around the house speaking Greek from the first stage where you're playing as just the dudes in a loincloth.
Yep.
Ryker, what did you start off with?
Well, I think it's about time I reveal what my actual gaming past was, considering these two have no idea what it really was. It was the Wii.
Oh my God,
It was
I'm so
Nintendo Wii.
sorry.
And guess what? The very first like video game, quote unquote video game I played was Wii Sport.
Oh, Father.
The game designed because the Japs thought we were too fat.
Okay.
Literally.
Well, besides the Wii, of course, I also had a 360. But unfortunately, because we didn't have internet at the time, not what I mean. I'm not saying It has nothing to do with the era. It has to do with expenses and all that. I didn't get to really play Halo or Call of Duty or any of that kind of
Well,
stuff.
well, we definitely know there was internet by the time the 360 hit because we had been playing before dial-up.
Yep. Yeah, you actually would buy a disc at GameStop.
So
Actually
the
put it into your drive.
the first video game brought into our home was an 84 IBC DOS. Okay, like the real DOS system. And I remember you had to put in the floppy disk to start it up, and then you had to take that floppy disk out, and then you would run. And my two favorite games was the Oregon Trail and Garfield's stickers. And it's where they weren't moving objects, but you would make Garfield like the kitchen or the living room, and it was just stickers that you moved around with the arrow pad key. The Oregon Trail was completely pixelation, and it was like, oh, hey, you're cruising along and a band of Indians attack you. And you're like, okay, what would happen? Because you just stand there and the game is making all these terrible noises, which at the time computers were supposed to do. And then it would be like, oh, little Susie died because the Indians got her. And you're like, dang it, that was my child.
Literally. It's like, oh, you want to cross this river with your cart and oxen? Well, the oxen drowns.
Yeah,
The cart loses a wheel, and 3 people fell and broke their legs. How do you want to fix this? And it's like,
Uncle Fred
kill
went
them all.
down. Uncle Fred went down with the wagon. There he goes. Bye, Uncle Fred. There goes all our food.
Yeah, all the food down the river, and you're like, well, you're gonna starve in 3 days unless you find civilization. Civilization 10 weeks away, and you're like, this.
Yeah.
is-
So the best part about that game was the hunting. You would have to attack everything that came into the screen, and it was just a little square that went across the screen to try to hit the deer or the buffalo. It was wonderful. So when you got into 360, Riker, what was the games that really like gripped you? What pulled you in?
To tell you the truth, this is gonna sound really, really bad, but I have an excuse for it.
Well, since Fortnite hadn't been invented yet, we're going to be okay with that.
It was a well, since I didn't really have majority games on the 360 anyways, it was this one free game. No, and it was really bad. It's not what got me into gaming, trust me. That wasn't the one. That comes in later in 2018, but for now we'll just start with the basics. It was this racing game. This dude on a bike, like him like going up a hill and then riding up, and I think like the more tricks you got, the more points you got with it. And I got
kind of like
really
Skater
bored with it. No, Skater, but like 10 times worse, if you can imagine.
Okay, Newsboy from the Game Boy. Yeah.
Like this, it's just one ramp, and that's it. You don't get to move around or anything. It's just like a base like a mobile game, basically.
Oh,
They put it on console.
that's
Think of it like that. Very sad.
okay. Huh. That's different. Darth, do you remember that game? I think it was for the Nintendo. It started, and it was like Newsboy or Paper Route. Paper Route. That was it.
I think so, but I don't remember where I played it because I never had a console growing up. I only had PC, and I don't remember owning that game.
I
know I played it.
If I wanted to play games, I had to go to my friend's house or I had to go to my cousin's houses because my dad was like, "You want to know where your TV screen is? It's that window right there."
Exactly. My dad literally gave me a hatchet and said, "Go outside and chop some trees and build a fort." So that's what I did, starting at the age of 9.
Oh, those were the good old days, running out there with trenching tools. Yeah.
Obviously no safety endangerment whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lightning storm one time, and I told my mom, it was like, we're going out to play Vietnam in the bamboo, and my mom's like, whatever.
Literally.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself too much. We can't afford the bills.
Exactly. If a tree falls on you, you better die. So with me, I grew up in the woods. Riker, you grew up in the city, right?
Suburbs, actually, not city.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's well, that's city to me, but that's still, suburbs. Yeah. So a urban environment. Yes.
Very much so, yes.
Okay. So pretty much, would you say like video games was a really big escape?
In 2018, it became the big escape.
Okay,
Can I,
so
can I talk about that?
what in 2018 caught your grasp? Because that's really when everything kind of started to go to shit.
Well, luckily we were still in our higher years. Luckily, before, don't worry. But but there was this game coming out, right? And you two obviously know I'm a big fan of superheroes and shit. So it was,
Yep.
my apologies. So it was Spider-Man for the PS4, made by Insomniac Games. I saw the trailers for it back in 2016, I think, 2017, lead up to 2018, and I begged my mother. So I was like, I need this PS4, man. I have to play this game, please, please.
Right.
It was $400, man. I don't think she was happy about it, honestly, like with how she was talking to me about it.
Yeah, she was
But
probably like, yeah, that's like an electric bill and some groceries.
But I'll be the first to tell you, it was the first actual console that got me into gaming. I mean, like gaming, let me try out new stuff and everything.
Right, right. Was it just the freedom? Because I know that game allowed you to just move around the city as you please.
Not only that, but also the feeling you get when listening to music while playing the game and swinging is it's ethereal.
Right.
Honestly.
I could honestly like I used to work in the oil field listening to Sunflower. So I can only imagine adding that to that game because it came from, that cartoon of Spider-Man. And that was a really good it was a really good soundtrack. I would definitely play that. So what else about the game just grasped you? Like what exactly pulled you into it?
Well, first of all, it's a immaculate story, which I gotta admit, I love it. The performances by the guy who voices Spider-Man in the game is Yuri Lowenthal. He pulls an all-time performance, and just the ending scene is it's just it's at the peak of Spider-Man's character and shows just how true he is to his own cause, and it's perfect. But not only that, but also the gameplay with the combat. The combat itself is really fun. You can be annoying and just play around with the enemies and just mess with them, like a Spider-Man would. And then you got the swinging, which of course is the highlight. Well, it's not a. Let's just say call it frosting on top of an already delicious cake.
Right. So it's basically the mechanics of the game that added to not only the good storyline. So it was just an all around good game.
Loved it. Yep.
I think that's honestly something that I miss the most. I remember games being, completely solo games. You didn't have online compatibility, and if you did, you had way better internet than what I grew up with. And so storylines were very important. I started off probably with my first actual franchise that had a storyline, because I started off on the PlayStation as our first console coming into the house, the PlayStation 1. But I have to remember that my first franchise was definitely it had to be probably Halo. And I really cringe when I say that because Halo has turned into something completely different now versus what it was when Combat Evolved came out.
No, it definitely has. I definitely miss the storytelling, a proper good storytelling of older games. Going back to like PS2 era, you just sit there like, even if it didn't have storytelling, like Worm Armageddon was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know why that game was so fun, but as a child, different types of worms just blowing each other up is great. It was hilarious. And that was PS2, if I remember correctly.
I don't even play. I remember hearing about that game, but I never played it.
Just different styles of worms living underground. They get different attributes and different weapons, and you just have to shoot the other side until they all die. That's all it really came down to.
So simplicity at its finest. Yeah.
Absolutely. I never owned a console until PS4 came out and I was living on my own. I always went next door neighbors, PS2, PS3. The PS3 was Skyrim through and through.
Blech.
I know you just love it so much.
So when Skyrim came out, I was so excited, but I was a Morrowind player. So I had seen where Bethesda had come from and then came to.
Yeah.
So I had been playing Fallout since the second game on computer. I never got to play the first one until I got older. And then I played all those up, and then I played all of the I finally got to play Daggerfell last year. And it was actually still really freaking good, even though it's an older game.
Yeah.
And what kills me is Skyrim just felt so lazy. And it hurts me to say that because I am a huge Bethesda fan. And that's the problem that really kills me is I'm sitting there going, okay, you know, there's only so much that I can do as far as, you know, what my imagination can try to incorporate or add to. So, like, say, for instance, the brand new remastered version came out of Oblivion, and I am loving it. It is fantastic. It looks good. All the same funny-ass glitches and weird voice acting is in there. The best part is you can have a real beard, and it's not like this hair that's inside your skin. Because the graphics used to be like purple. You wanted a beard, it was purple. And you're like, what the hell does that mean? And so
I am now. That's what that means.
So my question to y'all is, especially with Riker, you starting off in an era where graphics were actually pretty good versus what we started off with, where polygons were as good as you were going to get. Okay. Do graphics make the game, in y'all's opinion?
Well, I'll be the first to tell you, it just makes it look pretty, but the gameplay itself is just like,
Okay, so what I'm saying is like, if you have a good concept, if the graphics are not there, do you feel like you could still play the game if the game was still a good game? Like, are graphics really making the games these days? Or are we kind of being just given a facade of, hey, this is on this engine and it looks amazing, but it smells, still smells like dog water? Well,
I can actually, I'm going to dive deeper into this topic. So I think what people get confused with, there's been this, well, I think both of you can account for this. There's been a sort of realistic, like, renaissance for the art style of video games and everything, rather than like retro or classic or animated or 8-bit. You get what I'm saying?
right.
And because we've been lacking a lot of the unique art styles, everyone thinks all games look the exact same as they do, which I don't blame them, because my God, we need some new looking stuff. Now, for gameplay, that needs to be improved a lot, because remember back in the day, even you two can account for this. The games had a lot more interactivity back then. A lot more stuff you could do, a lot more fun you could have. Now it's just main story and side quest, and that's it.
Well, and a lot of the times, and it seems like this for me, the storyline is now the second feature. So, like, okay, you had Battlefield 3, which really engaged me into the online community. It wasn't Halo and it wasn't all of these other games. It was Battlefield 3 for me that put me into the online perspective. I got murderized on that game. I mean, I would last probably the same amount that a guardsman does on Warhammer 40K. About 30 seconds, and I was evaporated. And it made me so angry, but for some reason I kept coming back for more. But the great thing about Battlefield 3 was its storyline was immaculate. And I had already played Bad Company and Bad Company 2, which was great. But here was the two dynamics that Frostbite had brought to the game that I hadn't seen by anyone other than maybe Crytek was world destruction. So you had buildings that could be drove through, blown up, and destructed. And then you had levolution, where the levels changed. Dams would break and all kinds of stuff, and things would happen in later games. And so there were some really cool aspects that came to these games later on in their franchises, but I still fall back to Battlefield 3 being the best out of that franchise. But what they did was they focused on the storyline first, and they made the online gameplay second. And now it seems like now there's not even a storyline. It's just about online gameplay. And I can't tell if that's because they're looking at sales or if they're just lazy and they're just going for what the money brings.
I mean, I really think it just depends at this point. Like, you got ESO, you got Fallout 76. To me, those are all just major flops.
ESO was such a disappointment. And I wanted it to be so good.
I know, right? I agreed because, like, oh my gosh, I finally get an Elder Scroll or a Skyrim-like game, and I can play it with my friends. And 5 minutes into that game, and I returned it. I was done. Same with Fallout 76. Returned that within 5 minutes as well.
Oh,
it was horrible.
Man, I was so disappointed in Fallout 76. And the crazy part is, especially for our viewers out there, Darth Bane and we play a lot of the same games, whereas Ryker plays a lot more dynamic video games like Marvel Rivals and things like that. So there is a huge dynamic change between what we all play together, and where we play is on a Discord server called 1776 Gaming Community, which is our advertisement and everything like that. But that's where we all meet up and we all come together as a conglomeration, and a bunch of friends come together to play all sorts of games. But the funny thing is overall, Riker enjoys more of a third-person dynamic, whereas Bane and I like first persons or milsims, kind of realistic-esque games like that. But we all met each other on Helldivers.
Yep.
And Helldivers brought the best of kind of all the world's mistakes. So, however, Helldivers was not only a beautiful game, but it focused on one thing that we all saw as a huge flaw in the gaming community. Yes, the game has crashes. Yes, the game has issues. Yeah, it traded hats in the middle of it. Yeah, PlayStation kind of flopped on everybody, and there was this pancake situation. But what I would say, and you guys can agree or disagree with me, Helldivers brought one aspect that we all have not seen in a long time, and that is cooperative gameplay.
Like actual, real cooperative gameplay.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that I think game designers have forgotten, is how much teams rely on teams.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And it's one of those things where I'll even say the new Monster Hunter Wilds, I lost interest in that completely.
I did too, and I was so upset about that. And it's not because the game is bad. The graphics are beautiful. Mm-hmm. The customization was wild. Loved its customization. But it was, oh, hey, here's cooperation. You guys can co-op and all this other stuff. And then when the game came out, it's like, oh, by the way, you also have to sign this waiver. You have to give us the name of your first unborn child. All of this other stuff. And you're like, dude, this is co-op with extra steps. I'm not interested in this.
Yeah, literally. And it was, in my mind, that whole game was a flop. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So unfortunately. And I love Capcom.
Right. Oh, yeah. I've been playing Capcom since, I have to say probably one of my first Capcom games was Resident Evil 1. And one of my favorite ones for the PlayStation was definitely Dino Crisis.
Oh, and I want to add something real quick, if that's okay. To all viewers out there, if you have played Devil May Cry 5, Capcom has mentioned when the game was coming out that there was going to be a multiplayer feature. Now, what they didn't add, specifically the part, the fine print, if you will, was that you'd have to join someone at the exact same time they were running a match, which meant you couldn't join them in their own game, but you'd have to join through the
Right,
game's
right. There was
multiplayer.
this invitation. I have to shoot a flare in the middle of my combat to get you to try to show
Oh
up.
no, no, it was no. Let me explain to you. It was way worse. It was there was no flare, there was nothing. You had to join at the exact same time somebody else did during a mission. You didn't know who you were gonna get. And even then, there's a still highly unlikely chance that you were gonna have the same person in the lobby with
Well,
you.
see, and that's what they wanted you to do. So they wanted you to join the group, then join the mission, then join after the cutscene. And you're like, okay, but that's not what you advertised.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
here's what kills me. So Monster Hunter, we all know, is kind of a complicated game. Nothing serious, but it is. It is. And then you see a franchise like Dragon Age, okay, and then you see other things like that that are good storylines. I'm not gonna say the last one was a good storyline, okay, but games that really would have been modified better as a cooperative game. As far as Capcom, I think a game that really should have been cooperative, even if you could only have two players at a time. I really think that it's oh darn it, what's Dragon's Dogma. I think Dragon's Dogma should have been a cooperative game.
I've never played it, but from what I've seen, it definitely seems like it should have been.
So Dragon's Dogma is such a iconic just game where you can jump onto the back of your enemy and just stab him and fight like you really probably would in a real life situation, and you have pawns that work for you. Well, why couldn't your friends be your pawns? You know, why can't you just bring that in? Now, at the same time, I'm not shitting on Capcom. Capcom has made some amazing games, like Lost Planet. Lost Planet was such a good game. Oh, but there's larger issues to these problems that we're running into with online video games, whereas the first game is good, the second game fixes the problems and makes it great, and then it just gets stupid. It's kind of like movies where we're going to make a set of movies like the first Thor. Okay, I'm a huge fan of Thor. I like Thor. But then it just got goofy, and you go, well, where are we trying to go with this? Are we trying too hard? Are we trying too less? Are we going to add more CGI and less actual effort? And that's really where I think video games have gone, especially when you look at franchises like Call of Duty. Call of Duty, I saw a video where this one guy is holding a unicorn who is shitting on his enemy, rainbows.
Yeah.
And I go, where is the original Black Ops? You know,
At this point, just give me the original Call of Duty. Like,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a better game.
Dude, you would level up, and then that guitar solo, that pump, 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 and you go, yeah, and you're just like, that's the shit, you
Yeah.
know, and you felt like you were on crack the entire time because your guy's just like sprinting like crazy and you're shooting and fucking throwing grenades and having a great time. But there was nothing else in your life. You were just like, yeah, let's do it. You're going down, punk. And that would bring you into the line of life was funner, in my opinion, with friends when there were system link parties. And I think this is something that the younger generation, especially in Riker's era, didn't get to experience. So, Riker, have you heard of system link parties? Did you ever engage in any of those?
I'll be the first to tell you absolutely not. I don't know what those are.
So a system link party. Okay, so I don't know how Darth is, and I'll let you have your experience here in a minute. My mom was talked into buying an $84 router. Now, in 2004, that was a big ask, okay, of an RN who's working 72-hour shifts. My dad was a correctional officer. And so money was tight, and we had bills. And we were like, Mom, please, a router that has four Ethernet cable links. It's only $84, which back in 2000 something was actually pretty decent money. Uh, my mom bought it for us. We went to Best Buy in Lufkin, and boom, we had it. So we were gods amongst men. We announced to our friends, we have a router. And everyone was like, oh my. And so then everyone, my brother's friends and my friends, all brought our TVs. Now, here's the crazy part, Riker. We had to pick up 21-inch screen tube TVs, put them in the vehicles, and carry them to someone else's house with all of our stuff in backpacks. And you had a specific backpack for all your gear. Like, forget clothes, because I'm not bathing. We're killing all night.
Literally.
Mountain Dew, Cheetos, and pizza was the food of the gamer.
That's so true.
And I remember when Code Red came out, and it was the huge debate which one was better, Code Red or regular. And you're like, screw you, Code Red, guys. And everybody's like, screw you, freaking regular dudes. And then that blue shit came out, and I was like, ugh. That was the same time that ketchup was purple and green. So you can have a whopping 16 people playing at one time on a Halo server. And what you did was you hosted it, and then these guys joined in. So here you are, 4 guys on your little 21-inch screen YouTube TV. And I'm on a laptop right now that is a 19-inch screen TV. Okay, this thing was bigger than, my laptop, but not by much. And you could talk shit to your friends. They're right over there. You could die and be like, eat shit, bro. What the heck was that, you freaking punk? And he'd be like, good, son. And it was just this banter back and forth. So it was like a Call of Duty lobby, but it was without all the trash talking and the huge toxicity. Darth, did you do System Link parties?
No, actually, I did not. So, mostly growing up, it was just me with my best friend, and we would sit there with an Oblivion book or a Skyrim book and just play the campaign. One person one day would read through the book to help us out, and then we would just swap back and forth. We never did any online gameplay until I actually moved out into my own place and started, I'm pretty sure, with I don't remember which Call of Duty it was, probably Black Ops, and that's when I started getting into online gameplay. But at that point, it was purely through the wire. You didn't have to be hardwired in at that point. It was actual Wi-Fi. I don't remember the System Link, actually.
Oh, that's terrible. System Link was so much fun. You had all these guys in a dark room just killing each other on Halo. So, Riker, in your opinion, being a younger generation, which is, nothing to the younger generation, but I really feel like y'all lost out on a lot of camaraderie, because here we are, we're 3 good friends, we play a lot of video games together, we play D&D together, but we've never seen each other, and I think that really brings the gaming aspect down. We trust and know each other, but there's nothing like seeing your real physical friend right there talking shit to you. What do you think about that?
I think personal is the best way you can get to know somebody, and especially if they play the same things you do, that grows an even greater connection than online or distance would, to tell you the truth.
I think, and this is the really sad part, I think that there is a lot of disconnection between online and what multiplayer used to really be. And I think a lot of people are forgetting just how important that System Link and that friendship used to be. For the viewers listening, Um, Traveling Man, or Noel, however he goes by, um, he and I have been friends for 12 years, and we started our friendship online and have been as thick as thieves, just like these two guys here. And I have made a lot of very good friends online that I would do a lot for. But majority of the guys that I've met online, I have went to meet in real life. And so that's very important to me. And all three of us come from a Discord called the 13th, which is a Helldiver Discord. So if you're looking for one, that's definitely where you need to go look up. But we met each other through a video game by happenstance and absolute randomization on a game that brings people together to work together, which I'm hoping is a huge dynamic shift over to the cooperative side versus being part of the competitive side. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that love competitive side. And don't get me wrong, as a guy who was 3% in the world at Battlefield 3 at one time, I understand how important that is. But the older I got, the more I just went, you know what? Two things really crossed my mind. The younger generation is better than I am. And I just don't care about titles anymore.
Yeah. No, I like it's weird. It's hard to explain. I focus on campaign. I like campaign story, period. That's what I like to do. Online gameplay for me, Helldivers is honestly almost top tier because you're getting both worlds. It's an unending story with Helldivers, and you get to play with your friends. If Skyrim or Oblivion was somehow multiplayer, where you can have co-opable options through online play, I would also be playing that nonstop. It's because of the story.
I have to agree. And honestly, for me, it was the mechanics of that game. But the crazy part is Darth and I, we play a lot of the same games. So we play a lot of first-person shooters, 6 Days in Fallujah, Sandstorm Insurgency. Mm-hmm. We play, but we also play games that mix with our colleague here, Ryker, where we play third-person shooters, which is his perspective. He likes the third-person game, and we play a lot of Warhammer. So Warhammer is very important to us. And for a lot of us, we started our Warhammer campaign on that game. As for myself, I've been now following it since 2010. Which is not super long ago, but it's enough for me to go, this is never ending. Ryker, in your opinion, playing a third-person game, why is that so important to you? Because I know that's a big aspect of how you play video games.
For me, it was always about personal preference because I've always, don't take this personally, viewers, and Darth and Smokey alike, but I've always, whenever I saw them, whether it be through YouTube or through someone else playing, I just wasn't interested because with third person you get grand action. You get to see everything. It's like a movie, for example. You get to see the grand action, everything on a big scale. You get to see people do certain things you wouldn't expect to do, pull off certain stuff, insane stuff that you probably wouldn't do if it was just a first person game. Because with third person games you get skill trees, new unique moves you could pull off. A lot of stuff that I don't think first person provides, unfortunately.
Would you say that it's the camera angle or
Camera.
For me, I like the cosmetic effect. So, like, especially in video games that are like today, and I hate to keep bringing Oblivion back up. I'm sorry, guys. It's my freaking fan favorite. I am such a nerd on that game. But the new remastered version, things like move on your body dynamically and look really realistic. Your guy walks like he should. And so when I'm not in combat, I want to see third person because I made that guy. So I want to see what he looks like.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, Space Marines, Warhammer Space Marines 2 is
Oh my gosh, yeah.
one of the best examples out there right now with customization, what you can do for armor sets.
I'm
And
gonna
feel
say
like a
that, yeah.
badass.
I have to say, between Warhammer and Helldivers, no one does the third person better. And there's going to be some haters out there that go, oh, but this game and this game, that's great. And that is your personal preference. And I'm not
Yeah.
beating on it. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I love having input. If anybody wants to actually talk about that, we can get you on the show and you can tell us your part on that. That would be so awesome. In order to do that, you'd have to go through 1776, which is a Discord server. We have a website, which will be under the link for our Spotify and everything like that. And so if you want to join in and actually be part of the community, we would love to interview you and have you online. It would be so awesome and so great to have interviews with almost anybody. This podcast is for a real community like 1776, where we bring all individuals in and to have fun and enjoy themselves and to bring things together where we can all come up with a fun gaming community. 1776 gaming community is all about camaraderie, freedom of speech, and bringing men and women together that want to game and enjoy their time. We have tons of different things right now. Right now, we've got this really cool PUBG League going on where you can actually win prizes and money. So definitely something to look into. But when we formed this group, we brought in so many dynamic people that had all kinds of different walks of life, whether it was military, law enforcement, a burger flipper. It didn't matter. We've got guys that are aviation mechanics. We got guys that are in high school. It doesn't matter. As long as you want to play as a community and be part of the community, we're all for it. And that's the thing about video games that I think these big top tier designers are forgetting is the community. We're not looking for immaculate graphics. We're looking for games that bring us home. Something that where when you get off of work, you can have a sip of a beer, chill out with some coffee, whatever you want to do, and relax. And one of the games that I have to say has been doing that for me is definitely Baldur's Gate. And I know there's a huge train out there about Baldur's Gate, and everybody's tired of hearing about it, but Baldur's Gate 3 is so funny because if you know anything about D&D, anything can happen. And in that game, it does. Me and Darth have played, I don't know how many times. I think it's 15. It's 15 times right now.
Count.
And not once have we went through the exact same dialogue. I have done everything right with Shadowheart like I did in the last one by myself, and she hates me now. And I was so upset last night because I was like, this is the first time I've been rejected at the party.
I was dying laughing when that happened. Dying.
So then we joined this group, the 13th Helldivers Regiment, and we ran into each other just by random happenstance. Darth ran into me by just a random conversation. Ryker and I ran into each other by a happenstance and a referral, kind of. And from there, friendship was developed. Brotherhood was developed, and then fighting and dying in games together like a team was developed. And that is what I think video games are losing nowadays is there used to be clan wars, there used to be fights, there used to be things that brought you together as a unit. Riker, you being as young as you are, and I keep saying that you're young, and I'm not trying to single you out, but you are bringing a different perspective from what we've seen. Us being in our 30s, you being in your early adult ages, with you, before you joined the 13th, did you feel like there was any kind of camaraderie, or was that the first Discord you had joined, or...
For me, it wasn't the very first Discord I joined, but it was the very first one that had camaraderie in multiplayer gaming. And even then, before I joined the 13th, I have played other multiplayer games, but with friends from other Discords. Except it's just the problem was is that these games were somewhat of lower quality. Even though we were hyped for them, we were excited for it. They ended up being not the best.
Expand on that. What were the games that you played?
Oh, okay. We're gonna go into that. All right, fair. Okay.
Well, I mean, you said it.
That is very true. Now, the very first like big multiplayer game. Okay, quote unquote big multiplayer game I played with my friends because it was superhero related and we were hyped and we ignored all the hatred of the game. God, it was.
Oh
right the
God!
whole
Don't
time.
say it's the new Gotham game.
Oh God, no. Never bought the game.
Gotcha.
It was this Avengers game made by Square Enix and Eidos Montreal, and it was just live surface trash.
I was so surprised to see Square Enix pick that game up due to the fact that they are the makers of Final Fantasy, and if I'm not mistaken, they do the Lara Croft games, the Tomb Raider ones, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm not 100%
yeah.
sure.
I'll need to be fact checked on that.
Either the company is Square Enix or Eidos Montreal, but back to the conversation.
But I thought that was very strange that game flopped because Square Enix doesn't put their badge of honor on something without it being really good. It's kind of like seeing a Kojima game or a Fox Engine game and it turned out to be a flop, like Metal Gear 2.
I mean, to be fair, if you actually look at Square Enix and the Final Fantasy games, the original games, all the way up to 8, are immaculate.
Yeah,
They're
I do have to
beautiful
agree.
games.
And we're going to catch some flack for that because there are so many Final Fantasy X fans, and they're like, it was the greatest game in the world. And you're like, okay, it was fun, but it wasn't 7. I'm so
7
sorry.
And I love the new remastered ones.
So I haven't played the second one. I'm so mad because I don't have the money for it right now. But I played the first one. Yeah, the first remastered.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, this is so good. So they mixed it so well. But it's because a lot of these games I see are going to remastering games. And I go, well, why? Why not make something original? It's because there is nothing original. They know
figure out story anymore.
They know that those games are so good that people will play them again. And I can't tell if it's a money grab or if it's literally just them going, we need you guys to still stick with us. Like, okay, Oblivion got remastered, and they said, this is our test server, basically, for our new game. And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind being a guinea pig for that. That's fine.
And to be fair, it also shows that Oblivion wants to listen to the community and get feedback as well.
Yeah, and I was amazed that Bethesda got off of their engine and went to the Unreal Engine 5, especially due to the fact that so many people are talking absolute trash about Engine 5.
Interesting.
Well, they're saying that it's too hard for their computer to run. I'm running the game literally, and everybody's going to shit on me about this. I already know. I'm running it on low and medium. It's on custom setting. Yeah. But it still looks amazing, and I'm not a graphics guy.
Yeah.
So, Ryker, if you were to say, from the video games that you've played, what's probably your favorite from the video game era that you started at? And I'm not talking about the best graphics. I'm talking about the one that just pulled at you the most.
Well, since my gaming era started in 2018, practically, I'd have to say my favorite game that I ever played. It's been. To tell you the truth, I'm gonna say Spider-Man for the PS4. Honest truth.
Okay. Darth, what's the one that brings you home?
Brings me back to like my childhood home, or just brings me in because of graphics?
Let's go with home first, and then let's go to like your favorite game right now.
It's really torn because I love Age of Empires, but I also really love Total War Medieval 2.
Oh man, This guy got me started on Total War Warhammer, and I am so unbelievably addicted. I am the Rat Horde.
I just spam elves as archers. That's all I do.
I have to say, the one that brings me home, and this is really hard for me because there has been so many games that have really been a big part of my childhood, from Crash Bandicoot to Ratchet and Clank to Jak and Daxter. I have to say the one that brings me home has to probably be Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1, because my dad played it a lot. My brother beat it 86 times. I could lip sync that game. I have tattoos of Metal Gear. I did my very best to sound like Solid Snake all my life.
Of course
Which
you have.
on here, of course, you're not going to hear it because I'm either too inebriated or I'm not up to par on voice acting, which I do a lot of. But that game brings me home.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to say what my favorite game is that I could lose my life in, I would have to say right now my current game that I could pick up at any moment and enjoy 200 plus hours on top of it has to be a video game called Mount and Blade Bannerlord.
Yep. I have that in my wish list.
It has no storyline. It does have a storyline, but there's a sandbox mode, and it's just war. It's war and diplomacy. That's it. It's just what can you do and what can you not do? Like, what brings you to that perspective of ignorance warfare? So it has nothing to it. And the funny thing is I don't know if you guys saw the Xbox One version of this game. It was called Mountain Blade. Oh my gosh. It wasn't Bannerlord. It was Mountain Blade. Oh goodness. I am so lost on what it was called.
I cannot save you from this one.
Oh no. I cannot remember, but it came out for Xbox One, and it literally, if I was to describe it, looks like a early PlayStation 2 game. It's that bad. The trees are flat. They're see-through. The grass, yeah. I'm telling you right now, on my Xbox, I have 700 hours on that game. So it was the first game that brought in aspects of your army marches on its stomach. You have to pay monthly wages to your army. Or, I'm sorry, weekly. And you could court females. And be married and command armies and all kinds of things. And so I would just lose myself in this simplistic, ugly game. And it was hideous. Do not get me wrong. So I started playing that probably 4 years ago. All right. And I mean, 4 years ago, that's what, 2020? So you're playing a game that looks like the PlayStation 2 graphics. It's not rougher. Okay, this is a rough PlayStation game. And it was still fucking good. It was still so good. And so simplicity and good gameplay and good mechanics, in my opinion, makes the game. Don't get me wrong. Graphics make a game. If I was to play, because I have both. I have the original Oblivion and I have the new Oblivion. But I really believe that mechanics and the game's storyline makes it so much better.
I mean, I don't disagree. Like I said, I love storyline over everything else, right? But for some reason, I want full immersion into a game. So I love graphics. Love them. So Horizon Zero Dawn, beautiful graphics.
Yes, very
Ghost of
much so.
Tsushima, beautiful
I have
graphics.
not played it. Oh, I need
It
to.
is absolutely gorgeous. I might just play it and stream it for you so you can see it. It is
Okay.
so beautiful. And I'll even go to say with Rikers earlier when he was mostly third person player, I love Star Wars Fallen Order and Star Wars Survivor. I love them. I know you do not. I just love those games. I don't know what it is about them. I think it's just because I'm a Star Wars fan and it's a better game than whatever Ubisoft just
Oh
came
my
out with.
gosh.
That was a sack of
Yeah.
garbage. Absolute garbage.
Garbage.
It's just garbage. That's the bourbon talking right there.
I know. I'm about 3 sheets to the wind right now. So,
It
Riker,
is-
bringing you into the third-person perspective, what brought you to Helldivers? Like, what about Helldivers made you go, "Ooh, that looks good"?
To tell you the truth, like majority of the time, it was a friend who recommended me the game, and I was interested in seeing it, so I looked up the trailer for it, and I was like, this marketing campaign is really good. Triple the budget, okay.
I didn't even know this game existed until I saw a Instagram reel. I never even saw a commercial for it. I didn't know what Helldivers even was, even the first one.
You know how I found about Helldivers? TikTok. Not even a lie. That's how I found it. I said, let me look this up. And I bought it, I think, a week after it came out.
I bought it a month after it had been out. Now, Riker, with you saying that the advertisement was so good, what about the advertisement made you feel like this would be a good game?
Well, because okay, when I first opened the game and everything, it wasn't parody, but it was like it knew what kind of game it was, and it was like it didn't take itself too seriously, but it also knew it was like a hell yeah game, if you ask me.
I mean, was it the graphics? Was it something on the commercial? What drew you in? See, this is what we're trying to get to: is what brings the consumer to the house.
It was focused on being entertaining and having fun. That's what it
Okay.
was about
Okay.
the advertisement.
So
That's
the
why I like it.
camaraderie, the cooperative mode of attacking tons of shit with friends.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as games that you play, because we don't all play together all the time, when you're on your alone time, what kind of games do you like to play? Like, what have you been playing here lately?
I've been playing Rivals as mentioned before, and the thing I like about it is you don't need a party to play with you. You can play on your own and still interact with other people in the game and still have team up moves and all this other kind of stuff, which is what makes it so fun.
I have to agree. So I started playing Rivals, and I thought it was really going to be like an Apex Legend. It was going to be a Call of Duty. It was going to be this. And then you and I started playing, and it was not only really fun graphics, because I'm going to tell you right now, Invisiwoman, that's all I'm going to say. But it was also very cool to see the dynamic of one player being an ultimate badass did not make the game impossible. So you could have one really good, awesome dude on that side, and the rest of the team be crap, and then you could smash them. So it really is a very cool game that is not only free, but is amazing that it forces you to work as a team. And if you don't, you're screwed. You can be the best player. You could have 5 of the best players. And if you don't work as a team, you're going to crap.
Yep.
I'm also gonna like to add, once Ultron gets released, I'm gonna have to insta-lock on him, unfortunately, and he'll be my main, so nobody else will use them. Sorry, viewers, if you are playing Rivals and you haven't delivered to me, it's not gonna happen. Sorry.
Well,
I don't make the rules.
you know, and that's a crazy thing. So I have not played Warhammer 40K Space Marines 2 online until the other day with one of our other gamers called Maximus. And Max and I, we played together And I realized that it wasn't so much that the other team was good, it was that the same dynamic set up. If your team did not play as a team, you were going to lose. And I like that aspect. Versus something like, let's throw back to Battlefield 3. Where Battlefield 3 was, when I played it with my group called Smokey and the Bandits, and we played against this other team called Dynasty of Nightmares. It didn't matter whether we lost or won. What mattered was that we held an objective and that enemy clan did not get it. So it didn't matter if our team lost or won. It was about honor. You didn't get Bravo, okay? You could fight your ass off, but you didn't get it. It was more like we were dug in like a tick. And when I say Smokey and the Bandits, my clan was 4 guys. Smokey, Corporal Cocoa Puff, a guy named Kate Sith, and another dude named Tricom. And we were a dynamic of destruction. And we were fighting guys called Loki, Leatherneck, Schultzen, Wonder Weasel. I mean, we were fighting a much bigger crew to the point where we had other crews like Phoenix and Ace Squadron got paid to come and kill my clan. They were actually physically paid to bounty hunt us. And shout out to any of those guys. I would love, if they ever hear this, I would love to get them on the podcast. They are such good gamers. And they failed. So the reality of video games, where it has come from this to that, I'm a little disappointed in the gaming community because we have eaten up, and I myself am a victim of this as well. I'm not just saying everybody. We hear a franchise that we love, and we buy the game, and then we're disappointed. And you go, why? Why do you want to hurt the people that keep you in business? I will bring up an excellent factor. I'm a huge Fallout fan. Love Fallout. Was not a huge fan of Fallout 4. It's not that I hate it, but it's not that I loved it either. Versus New Vegas and 3, it just wasn't my jam. Something about it just didn't feel as good. And although I play it and I love it, it wasn't as good. Versus Starfield, which I'm going to catch a lot of flack. You boys get ready. Starfield is not as bad as everyone says it is, damn it. It's just not. You have to take into the perspective of what they were trying to do. Yes, not every planet has a bunch of shit on it. Guess what? That's because not every planet has an atmosphere.
Yeah. Every planet actually has a bunch of shit on it.
You had to go into that game with the perspective of what it was. And I loved it. Loved it. It had some things that needed to change, but as far as a game that is solely single player, the biggest thing that I have to say that I didn't like about it was the inventory system and the romance system. So coming from Skyrim, I could marry tons of different characters. You know, you can marry them and move in and have children and a home. You had 4 people, and all of them except Sam Cole was actually interesting.
Oh, it's funny. The only thing, I'll get flack for saying this, talking about Starfield games and space games, is I did not and still do not like No Man's Sky.
Never have.
I know there's people out there.
Only thing I've heard is my friend liked it, but his opinion, no, opinions are opinions, and we all have our own idea of what good is.
Exactly. Exactly. Just like Smokey plays games I'll never play. I play games Smokey will never play.
Like
Same with
what?
me and
What
Riker.
what do I play that you don't want to play?
List off any game right now that you have that you know I will not play. I know you have one. Because I don't have you. I can open it up and look right now.
Oh my gosh. I'm
And I
trying
will
to
find
think.
one.
I'm trying to think because we play Ready or Not. We play Warhammer. Um,
Okay, hold on. I'm going to figure this out. Carry on. I'm going to look this up real quick.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
now
okay.
curious.
Okay. Riker, would you say that the reason that you're not a big fan of first-person shooters is because the camera angle? Is that something that kills you?
It's a huge hindrance to me because I feel like not only is it the camera, but I feel like the gameplay itself is also limited because of its first person perspective.
Is that because you believe like it's a little too restrictive, or like what do you mean? Like for me, if I'm playing a scary game, I want to play like let's go to Dead Space, okay? Let's talk about that fucking shit. Dead Space is so much scarier if it was first person, or I'm sorry, third person versus first person. So in first person, I have quick reaction, but third person, oh my god, I don't know what's fixing to happen.
To better explain, okay, for example, can you imagine if you had to customize your stories in Warhammer 40K, Space Marine 2, and it was first person? It'd be the most terrible concept I'd ever play a game for. I'd hate it. I'd despise it. Tell you the
I
truth.
have to agree. That makes a really good argument. That's really good.
And then you have Spider-Man, where his entire thing is acrobatics, tricks, jumping around, fooling around people. If that was first person, oh my God, that'd be terrible.
Okay, so you're talking about the lack of dynamic movement. Okay, that's good. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, imagine you were Master Chief and you could do the things that the
Oh
book
my
said that he
God,
could do.
yeah, dude, no. Imagine if Halo was third. Oh my God, stop it.
Okay. So now I get it. I understand that. I see that point of view. All right, I can get with that.
Okay, I got some for you.
Okay, here we go.
Arma 2. Arc. I'll never play Crisis,
Okay.
Tomb Raider.
Let's be 100% honest. Some of that is not my game. So for the listeners out there, I was married before. I do
Grand
not.
Theft Auto.
I do. Hey, well, no.
I'm sorry. I'll die on this one. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. I do not like any of the Grand Theft Auto games. Period. Point blank.
Okay.
Come fight me.
Let me go back. Let me throw back to the early 2000s. I was playing the original Grand Theft Auto, the first one that ever came out, the top-down version on PlayStation 1, baby. Yeah.
They have a top down?
They have a top-down version. Okay, the first two games were literally top-down. So you were looking from the top of your character. And there was a song. Viewers, I want you to look up this song, and it's on YouTube. It's called Caplips Calhoun.
The heck is that? I'm not looking that up.
Look it up. It is the best country song never written by a country singer ever. And we used to play Who Could Stay in the Bus Longer. So what you would do is you would get in the bus, a school bus. You would steal a school bus, okay? You would put it on the country song station, and Caplips Calhoun would come on, and you would smash into cops, run from the police, and stay in the school bus for as long as you can before the bus either exploded or the cops got you. And the song was so good that the radio guy on the station said, that song was so good, we're gonna play it again. So they would start the song completely over, and it was so great. And so that's my childhood. My friends and I would play a single player game like that, which we should not have been playing at the age of 10, by the way. Tostitos Pizza. when it originally came out in circles, not squares. and Hawaiian Punch was the drink of the gamer. Okay? And that was what we would do on a Saturday night. My parents used to be called the party masters by my friends because we would go over to their house, and Saturday night you'd get there on Friday, you'd get off the school bus, and Saturday night you would go home. And I'm like, this sucks. At our house, you went home on Sunday. Yeah. 2 days of debauchery. Yeah. So my house was known as the party central for video games.
My house was the stay out of house. That's a different conversation for a different topic and a different podcast.
Yeah. I remember the good old days where my dad would be like, "Y'all go outside and play games," and then the door would lock behind you. You could do that back in the 90s.
So there is one major game that you actually play, Smokey, once in a blue moon more than I will ever play again.
Oh no, let's hear it.
Marvel Rivals.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's me and
Technically.
that's me and a Riker thing.
I know. It's not a me thing. It's also one of our other persons in our group, Ichelon. He plays Marvel Rivals. Another thing that I play that you'll never play is I will pick up Fortnite again. I know you hate it. I will pick it up.
I can't stand that game. Oh my gosh, I'm telling.
I know.
Okay, so let me break this down for the listeners so I don't get absolute hate. It's not that the game is crap. I'll be 100% honest. What it is my brain does not comprehend building a fucking scaffold to try to shoot someone. All right.
To be fair, I do zero build.
Yeah, there's other game modes. I just can't bring myself to it after that kid made that meme where he said that that's the guy from Fortnite and it was Master Chief. I just can't. I can't because Master Chief.
That does.
Damn it, that's John Spartan fucking 117. That hurts me. You can't. I was playing that before the S controller ever came out. Okay? That just hurts me so much. Riker, when you were younger, what did you do other than video games? Like, what was the entertainment before you got into video games? Mine was Legos. I don't know about you guys, but I was a Lego fan.
Oh my god, dude! Oh wait! We need to talk about this. It was
Okay.
Legos, but it was also Creos, and then it was also movies.
Wait,
Now-
what the hell is a Creo?
I was about to
Yes.
ask that too.
Perfect open. Thank you very much. Now,
Oh man.
Let me get another sip of my bourbon.
okay, so Creo was like many brands out there, like Mega Bloks was a off-brand Lego brand company or whatever, and what they'd focus on were other franchises that Lego didn't have. For example, the main franchises that I bought from Creo itself was Creo Transformers, and my God, I was addicted because I loved Transformers at the time.
I have to look this up. I do not
Yeah,
know
it is real. It is real.
what a Creo is. How's it spelled?
Kreo, and there was
Okay.
there was a transport and everything. It was like a Lego commercial, but like for Transformers, and it was absolutely amazing. It looked awesome. Tell you the truth. So
Kreo?
yes.
Transformers, right there. There it is.
And so you could build like these really big dudes in robot form, and also
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then they also had mini versions of themselves that came with the sets as well.
When did this come out? I need to know when this came out.
Years and years ago, like decades ago, like 2 decades.
14 years ago. 14
Yeah.
years ago, bro. Holy cow.
Oh, that's why I never played with.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I need to do my age right now and then deduct 14. Yeah, I was married.
Huh.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Okay, so I was a huge Lego fan. I mean, Legos had really kicked off in the 90s. Okay. And they had been around for a long time, but we had the cool shit, all right? And then I remember, I don't know if you do, Darth, but the Legos started having the circles on their backs for you to put the guns and the backpacks on without having to put it over their neck.
To be honest, me and Legos were never a thing.
We're going to kick him off the podcast, everybody.
But
Yep.
it's
goodbye,
not
Darth.
because I don't like Legos. I love Legos, and I want Legos right now. It's because my parents thought they were too expensive to buy, and they never would.
You know what? That's
it was a waste
fair.
of money.
But honestly, look at the Lego prices back then versus the
And look at
Lego
'em now.
prices now.
Yeah, I used to work for Lego.
Oh my gosh.
Full house. That's what they cost now.
Bro, so I walked down the kids aisle the other day to buy my niece and nephew some gifts for their birthday. And I was looking at Legos and I saw it was a clone trooper set. I can't even remember. It was like the LAT and several clone troopers and like some droids and a droidica. And it was $57. And I was like,
Oh,
ugh.
yeah.
I was like, that's not even a platform for it to land on. That's just a LAT.
That's cheap.
Yeah, no, I know it was cheap, but I was just like, oh my gosh, dude. My mom, I remember her telling me no to a $19 set that had the platform, the buildable walls, and 6 Lego guys with guns and backpacks.
Yep. You know. So when I was younger, I did get a weekly allowance of $1, and with that $1, I'd go to Toys R Us. Yes, folks, that is an actual store that used to
is
exist.
a throwback.
It's that whole store.
And you'd walk right into the Hot Wheels section and buy the 87-cent car that brought it up to exactly $1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I had boxes and boxes full of Hot Wheels.
What was your
That
favorite? What was your favorite Hot Wheel?
I don't have one because I had over hundreds of them.
So I had
Possible.
a '68 Cougar Mercury Intimidator with Phoenix Green, and it's now my son's favorite car. And I gave it to him. I was so proud to give it to him, and I had kept it in prestige. I mean, the wheels are perfect. The glass has no scratches. The paint is still. It still has the glitter in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
He had it for 30 seconds, and it looks like it's been in a junkyard for about 60 years.
Ouch.
And it
You know
makes
what
me so happy to see him play with it, though.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It does give that warm feeling. What I'm going to do at some point is I will send you a picture of my grandpa's Hot Wheels.
Oh, that's good.
Because I inherited them.
Oh, that's so cool.
And you want to talk about cars? Those are probably my favorite Hot Wheels. And I don't even think they're Hot Wheels. Honestly, I don't think they existed then. So they're the before Hot Wheels. They're made with like actual cast iron.
Oh, man.
And I will send them to you because they are gorgeous cars.
Okay, so Riker, you being the age that you are, which you can tell the viewers how old you are, that's totally up to you. But do you remember Beanie Babies?
Yes. Sorry, that wasn't for me.
No.
So Beanie Babies in the 90s and the early 2000s was a big deal.
I'm going to go sulk in a corner. I'll be right back in 10 minutes.
Okay. Fair enough.
If I had known how much my Beanie Babies would be worth now, I weep into my pillow. They
Yep.
are worth so much money. Oh my gosh. My favorite one was a long-legged frog I called him Frogger. And he was my favorite one. He was green and black. And he was completely different. I have never seen, nor have I've looked up ones to rebuy. I have never seen another one like him. I don't even know how to start. and he apparently went to a farm because I would not clean my room.
Ah. That is unfortunate. I actually do not remember my Beanie Babies. I had like over 20 of them.
Oh no, I
and
had
I just
so many.
don't really remember them.
The best thing about Beanie Babies was we bought GI Joes at the same time. Okay, so
Mm.
the GI Joe, but this wasn't the actual GI Joe cartoon. These were GI Joes that had like M16s and shotguns and all sorts of shit. Well, GI Joes are hard. You had to move their arms and all sorts of shit. So what I did was the GI Joes were already dead people. Okay, and then the Beanie Babies would actually use the guns because when they died, it was more realistic when their arms flailed about. What kid thinks that way, you know?
Well, a kid
I
like
feel
you
like
would.
only you would.
So,
I don't know. I just remember, like, I never did. I don't want to say the word action figure, but I did have Gundam suit action figures as a child.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at
Loved those.
in my office right now. I have a Gundam suit model of a Zaku Unit 2 base model soldier. I have a Zaku 2 Mark 2 sticker from Mars's unit on my Dodge. Love Gundam.
Oh yeah.
Fuck,
Oh, yeah.
well, fuck Gundam. I'm a Zaku guy. That was the mobile suits that I loved.
No, I agree. But like I do love me some Gundam. That was as a child. That Dragon Ball Z. Now we're getting into anime. Like that's what I grew up with, to be honest. Naruto
Right.
and Inuyasha. But
Oh man, Inuyasha, Adult Swim. Oh, so good.
Tsunami.
Yeah. Tsunami
Uh,
was a freaking great spot. What about you, Rick?
Yep.
can we talk about that real quick? I wanted to cover this with y'all, the anime talk, because we gotta get into that. I know viewers are gonna attack me for this, but
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
listen, the honest truth was, after I figured out how certain people behaved with certain fandoms and certain anime, I was kind of turned away by the whole thing. It's just like, why are y'all so into this stuff? Like, it's like you find it genuinely funny and hilarious when it's just gooner bait. It's just
Well, some of them are weird. Okay, so I didn't watch all the strange wild shit. I think the I think the one that I got into the hardest was probably, as far as on that aspect, was probably High School of the Dead. And if you watch it, it is a little fucked up. When you think about it, they are like 16, 17. And I was like, yeah, but the animator didn't make it in that light. At the same time, America just posted a thing about that becoming illegal. So I was like, I'm kind of torn because you go, okay, well, that's the land of fantasy. And you go, I get it, but I don't get it, but I get it. You know, it's a really blurry subject, I guess. But I grew up watching like Dragon Ball Z and Inuyasha and Pokemon. Oh my gosh, don't get me started about Pokemon. My parents, oh, that damn Pokemon! And yeah, I don't really care for a whole lot of anime. I like things like Attack on Titans, Appleseed. Appleseed was a good one. I like more realistic animes, like Gundam. Gundam was a good, more realistic application to that system.
You know what I liked a lot? Sword Art Online.
I've
I
heard so
loved
many
it.
people love that show, and I've never watched it.
So essentially, a quick biopsis of it. You're VR gaming, right? Your
Okay.
avatar goes into the world. But what happens is your actual like soul and body kind of go with it, sort of. And if you get killed in the game, you die in real life.
Right, I've heard the aspect.
It's cool. It's really well done.
I think the reason
Extremely good.
why I was so susceptible to things like Inuyasha and later on The Last Airbender. The Last Airbender was great for me. I loved
I
that
love that.
show. The other one with Korra, that made me, because I was a
was okay.
teenager. I was a teenager at that time, and her arms made me feel a kind of way. I was like, I was like, hello, hi. I turned into a fanboy on that one. I was like, oh, you're tall and muscular.
That's funny.
I'll calm down
How
there.
adorable.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go.
That's the bourbon and Long Island iced tea there. I'll calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think the reason I was so susceptible to that style was because I had played Final Fantasy. A lot of things from Final Fantasy had helped me move into that style. So, Riker, had you ever played any of the Final Fantasy games?
Not one, but actually no, I haven't played not one of the Final Fantasy games, unfortunately.
Okay,
Missing out.
was it because it just didn't call to you, or what was the reasoning for that? Because it was a big thing.
Okay, well, I knew that the games existed. I just didn't know how to play them or cared enough to know how to play them. And then I saw the remake, which I did see reviews of the remake, to tell you the truth. But then I also saw it was turn-based, and
Well, the remakes aren't turn-based anymore.
But no, the remake is turn-based. No, because don't you have to like switch between certain characters to make certain moves have and all this other kind of stuff? In the
No,
Final
you
Fantasy
switch
remake?
between the characters. No.
Excuse me?
It's dynamic.
Excuse me?
they got away from the turn-based mode.
Yep.
So now it's a third-person actual like anime fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially now you can just sit there and like attack with your one dude, right? And then you can just switch to another character and attack again.
Yeah. And it's not turn-based. Like, your other guys are doing things.
Yep.
I might have to pick up the new one.
You played a believer here, folks. You heard it first.
If you ever question it, just watch a good YouTube on it. Like literally watch someone stream play it.
Yeah, it's
and that way you
a lot
get
of
a
fun.
good feel on how the game
And
is.
you'll fall in love with the characters, and you'll really just enjoy the characters. Like, especially in 7, Cloud is a good character, but I have to say, Red 13 is probably my favorite. The cat, he is my favorite. Oh my gosh, I love him.
And if you're on PC, you can mod it, but we're not going to go down that path.
But yeah, so that's really the great thing. Guys, we've had a great session. We've enjoyed ourselves. We've had a lot of really good conversation, and I'm looking forward to picking this up again. Everybody that's listening, we appreciate you so much. If you want to get involved and actually be part of this community, we are the 1776 gaming community. We have a website that will be logged on, and you can actually go to the link. There is all sorts of stuff here. We have live streamers, we have affiliated streamers and sponsor streamers. We have the swag store and the online website where you can go and actually click on and get swag and all kinds of stuff. You can be part of the community, and you can even be part of this podcast. It doesn't matter who you are. We're bringing everyone into the community. 1776 Gaming is about bringing individuals that are the regular everyday people together to play video games and have a great time. Our job is to make sure that you guys are the main focus of not only the community, but a safe place to chill, relax, chill out, and have a great time playing video games and remembering the nostalgia and the reinforcement of having friends to play with. We have PUBG leagues, we have tons of different things. We're fixing to start up all kinds of championship gaming. We have sponsored streamers that are constantly streaming for us, so we would love for you to go on there and watch these guys like Chronicle, Iron Mikey, Mikey Murder, and Mikey Holly are our biggest streamers. They are great guys. We have a lot of ex-vets, so if you're a veteran, please show up here. We're all mostly vets. We all deal with the same things. We're here to play as a group and a community, and we appreciate you as always. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks Darth and Riker for coming in and having a podcast with me. I greatly appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure to join.
Not a problem, man.
So in the future, look forward to more podcast. It's not going to be me every time. Sometimes we're going to have several other guys. That's one of the cool things about the podcast. But I am one of the main hosts. So look forward to the next thing. And please like and subscribe on our guys if you go to the website. We greatly appreciate it. And every little bit helps. Come into the community. talk to us. We will hit you up and have a great time. Darth is our HR manager. Ryker is one of our top guys on Smokey and the Bandits, and I am the community manager for the group. So please come in, have a great time, enjoy yourself, and remember that this is a place of camaraderie and video games to kind of escape the everyday just BS of the world and just to have a good time playing PUBG, Tarkov, Warhammer, Halo. It doesn't matter. If you want to start a community and a place for you to start something up, you can even have that opportunity where you're allowed to bring your clan in and have a good time like we have. And we just enjoy this a lot. Again, this has been another great session of Geek Arena podcast, and we're so happy that you guys have listened to us. Thank you very much.
And that wraps it up for this episode of the Geek Arena, where freedom meets frags and the grind never stops. If you're not already part of the 1776 Discord, what are you doing? Come squat up, talk trash, drop memes, and be part of the most based gaming community on the internet. And hey, don't forget to smash that like button, follow us on Spotify and YouTube, and most importantly, leave us a 5-star review. Not 4, not 3, 5, or we'll send a level 99 paladin to your house. Until next time, stay sharp, stay salty, and always keep nerd turds burning.